You're unbelievably more wise in your nature than you ever will be in your conscious thoughts. Because behind your conscious thoughts lies your nervous system. And if you say, well, my nervous system is unreliable, it is just a bunch of strange, weird biological chances that have got mixed up somehow, then this very opinion that you're expressing, you see, is a function of that nervous system. So you're saying that you are a total hoax. You can't trust yourself at all. And the meaning of this is that one should, above all, trust human nature in the full recognition that it's both good and bad, that it's both loving and selfish. A man of true virtue is therefore a human-hearted man.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you for joining us again this week. Welcome back to IIUM Brilliance, where we explore secrets to unlock potentials. Our very own goal of this show is basically to dive into the mindsets, insights and ingredients of IIUM very own such high achievers in the fields of academic, intellectual and education. But most importantly, we are very honored to actually invite to our show people of IIUM community who have significantly contributed to the development of our society through their achievements. For today, we don't just have any random guests. These people are from my Kuliah of Engineering, and they are some of the most brightest and most hardworking people, students in Kuliah of Engineering there is. They major in aerospace engineering, and recently they came back to IIUM as a second runner-up in the Malaysian Siswasat competition 2019, which is, I believe, a national competition, right?
Yes.
This is very impressive, second runner-up. So let us welcome to IIUM SAT 119. I pronounced it correctly?
Yeah. Yes,
okay. Would you mind introducing yourselves? Just your name.
Ladies first.
My name is Faika.
I'm Adi.
My name is Haris. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. We are very interested to know how you guys came about this competition and how you managed to become second runner-up in the competition in itself. So, at IIUM Brilliance, we believe that people are driven by certain motivations to persevere doing something challenging, like your team had spent months in the process of making it into the top 3 for Malaysia Siswasat competition 2019. Before anything else, why do you choose to study aerospace and not any other engineering?
Who starts first? You?
Okay. Okay. For me, during my high school, I always wonder how the aeroplane fly. So many questions pop up in my mind, such as how the aeroplane flies, how the engine works, and the most question pop up in my mind is that the aeroplane fly like birds fly? Maybe.
Yeah,
I've always been fascinated by the space, whether it's space exploration or the planets itself. So I guess that's more of it, and also I used to watch Star Trek a lot. So yeah.
Are you?
Okay, Bismillah. So for me, for aerospace, because of passion, nothing else. Yeah, because passion from when I was in my childhood. Aerospace is something that's very fascinating, and according to that passion, to see how things fly and how it works, it comes to the conclusion that I can see in IIUM when I'm standing right now, is that if you think about it, of Isra Mi'raj, the Prophet ascended to the heaven, both body and soul, physically. So there's aerospace element in there as well. So, okay, to be fair, we can't prove it yet with the current technology, but I believe if 80% of science in the Quran is already proven, the other 20%, including the ascension, can be proven in the future. So, I mean, to put it simply, it's a good thing that right now space exploration is abrupt, so that hopefully, inshallah, we can see that thing become reality, the proving part of the ascension of the Prophet to the seven heavens. So, it starts with the passion, and then it affirms your faith. So you see, it's very good. It's
That's
great,
a
right?
very
Yeah.
interesting story because usually most people don't say, "Oh, I like engineering because of Islamic related stuff."
Oh.
Very good, actually. How do you guys enjoy engineering so far? I mean, like, what are the challenges and hurdles that you mind sharing, Faika?
I think it's kind of tough, but I mean, yeah, but I guess I don't know. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
tough but enjoyable.
Yeah. Something that you put your time into it and you can see the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's not an overnight thing.
For
Oh,
sure.
that's for sure.
For sure.
Especially engineering. So it's something that you need to start with a passion because that's the only drive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I think it's that if you can't have that, if you don't have that passion, if you are able to sleep soundly at night with assignments in your back, there's something wrong with you. So
Understand.
yeah, that's for me, I think.
Okay, how about you, Adi?
Same, for me, engineering is tough, but I love engineering because I want to know. Because I want to know, like I said before, I want to know how it works. How it works, how the aeroplane fly.
So, like this, the subjects you're learning is
Yeah.
answering your questions. Alright. Okay, so to further move on our conversation today into your team effort, how do your team came about? Because like you're a fourth year student, you're a third year student.
Oh.
How do you guys meet each other?
Can I begin?
Yeah.
So it started with the Kuliah of engineering. They want to send people to this prestigious competition. So one of our supervisors, Dr. Okasha, so he approached me and he asked me, well, this is a very good competition for you to go. And so from that, I find people that, like very good students, such as Adi and Faika. Adi has been in Robo Team, okay? And Faika is in the Aero Modeling Club. So we have both mechatronics and more on the aerospace side, and me being a fourth year student. So we got that sort of mix. But yes, we have like our team, but at the back there's a lot more people supporting us. You can say it's like the whole kuliah as well. Yeah.
That's good. It's a very. So like, how do you guys found like, just like you just post posters or anyone can join, or you handpick your team?
Yeah, handpick, right?
Handpick
Yeah.
approach.
With
It's like
the
connection or what we call cable.
so with the help of Dr. Okasha, you
Yeah.
handpicked your
Yeah.
team members. Alright, cool. Do you have anything to add? Alright, we'll be right back after this commercial break. Hello everyone, welcome back to our show. To further move along our conversation today, is that would one of you mind sharing with the audience about how the three of you, what were the process of you making the proposal for this project and for the competition?
Oh.
Think
Oh,
I-
okay.
I didn't
For
know.
there are four process,
Mhm.
which is the first one is proposal presentation.
Mhm.
Second one is the PDR, which is the preliminary design review,
Mhm.
and the third one is the CDR, critical design review, and the fourth one is the competition day. For the
Mhm.
proposal presentation, we propose our project.
Mhm.
The first preliminary PDR is the first design of our sketch and all and other things. Critical design review is about our prototype,
Mhm.
which we have finished our prototype. Then
Mhm.
we need to test
Mhm.
or program or something like integrate or any other things.
Mhm.
And the competition day, which is the competition that we launch our satellite by using the drone
Mm.
until up to 200 meters. Is it?
200
Yeah,
meters,
200
yeah.
meter.
200
meter.
meter.
100
the
meter
sky.
free fall, yeah.
Yeah, free fall.
Ooh. How long does it take for the whole process? Like how early did you guys prepare for the competition?
It was about what, 6 months?
6 to 7.
6 to
6
7 months.
7 months.
Because the competition, I mean, the proposal started around March.
March,
Mhm.
April.
Yeah, March, April, something like that. It was during our
Final
during our
exam.
exam.
Mhm.
Was during our exam.
Final exam.
Final exam and finish at the beginning of this semester.
Yeah,
Mm.
and CDR during our semester break.
And CDR during internship.
Oh
Oh
wow,
my God.
okay. It must be a like struggle to manage
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain to us what your project is to the audience? Like what did you guys do? How like the function of the
Oh,
Satellite.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Can I? Okay.
yeah sure.
So our satellite, okay, so it starts with the angkasa, because they're trying to go for, if you know about the Malaysian aerospace blueprint 2030, which is to
Mhm.
produce more tier 1 manufacturers, and they stated that there's one void in the Malaysian aerospace industry,
Mhm.
which is related to rocketry and space exploration.
Mhm.
We already have an astronaut, but we don't have our rocket.
Mhm.
We have satellites, okay, that's orbiting the Earth, but we don't have the research and development for the satellite.
Mhm.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make like all universities to go towards this part.
Mhm.
So our project is to simulate a real life satellite,
Mhm.
but you put it in a miniature version, so it should be able to send data,
Mhm.
collect data, right?
Yeah, collect data.
Mm.
Like pressure, temperature, humidity,
Of
longitude,
the
latitude.
the
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah, the weather,
itself.
humidity.
Mm-mm.
That's why it was like 200 meters.
Yeah.
free
Yes.
fall.
During the design, we collect the data.
Mhm.
And then they add a challenge, because they add a challenge to the satellite. It needs to be able to move to a target.
Yeah,
Right.
navigate.
Navigate,
Oh.
navigate.
Autonomous.
So,
Sorry? What?
Navigate autonomously.
Mm.
Means
Ah.
like you can't control the satellite like through a remote control or whatever.
Or it has to be like smart, like an AI for it to move
Yes,
for itself.
Autonomous,
yes,
basically.
autonomous. Yeah. I think they want to focus on machine learning, something
Yeah.
like that.
Into
Mhm.
So-
IR 4.0.
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe. So most of the, I mean, they outline like you can do something like a paragliding.
Mhm.
During descent, you go to the target, or you
Mhm.
use a rover. And we opt to do for a rover, because a rover you can estimate where it will go,
Mhm.
you know, and the design of the tires and all of those things.
Mhm.
So it is quite a challenge, since it's not only a satellite but also a rover as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then we're trying to like go in line with what Angkasa is hoping for, or what the country is hoping for. So yeah, I guess that's the biggest challenge of the competition, and what
Mhm.
the satellite is supposed to do.
Mhm. Cool. Okay, so moving on to our next question is that the course has challenges of its own,
Mm.
obviously, and that thankfully you all seem to enjoy the competition and the
Yes.
Very
process.
enjoyed.
Okay, do you have any particular role models or mentors in the arena and what is one of their advice that you hold on to when it comes to engineering design and innovation?
Nurfaiqah.
Nurfaiqah?
My role model would be the third president of the Indonesia, B.J. Habibie, Zainuddin Habibie, and I think it's not more of his advice. It's not his advice that keeps me going. It's just his action itself. Since the Indonesians were able to manufacture their own airplanes and their tanks, ETCs. So it's like if they can do it, why can't we?
I
It's
see.
like that. So, yeah.
So what did he do exactly that motivates you, and how did you apply that in your life?
I think like he keeps on going. It's like if I'm not mistaken, when I watched his movie, he was sick for a few months, I guess, but he didn't give up. And he kept going, and so yeah, I guess that's it. Like try not to give up.
It's a very, it seems simple but very insightful indeed. What about you, Adi?
Oh, for me, obviously Elon Musk,
Elon
because Elon Musk, I love about Elon Musk is about he introduced about the SpaceX, which is the rocket can landed back to the desired position. So that is very impressive. So the advice that I always keep in my mind is that if you have something important, you should try first, even though the possible outcome is a failure. So that's really motivates me.
It's kind of like the Thomas Edison
Yeah.
quote. Yeah. Fail 99 times, success
Yes.
1 time. Yes. What about you, Haris?
So for me, it's going to be our brethren, APJ Abdul Kalam. He's the former president of India, and it's not motto, but from the book that I read on his autobiography, is he mentioned better late than never. He always say that, better late than never, because sometimes you need to go on your own pace now. That's what I think. So that's why he mentioned that. And then about his I think his father has told him about studying abroad. Okay, he said that doesn't the seagull, okay, find like a resting place somewhere else? So means that if you go study abroad, you shouldn't be worried about your home or anything. You're doing the right thing. Something like that. So yeah, it's going to be him, APJ Abdul Kalam. Former president.
How do you apply that motivation to your life?
To my life. Well, I think I'm not homesick anymore.
That's good.
Yeah. And I think about better late than never. Personally, if I may tell you my story,
Yes, sure.
this is my 5th year in UIA. So I took 1 year late to go to engineering since I changed course from ICT. So there's a lot of things, a lot of reasons. But as I said, better late than never. Now we're in aerospace engineering.
And from the CV you've sent us, I can see that it's not a bad decision for you, because you've won a few multiple competitions.
Yes,
am I right?
yes.
Yeah. That's very impressive. Very impressive. Earlier you've mentioned how the biggest challenge in the competition in itself, which came from you. What I want to know is what Adi and Faika thinks is the biggest challenge for
The most challenging part is about the programming part. To program each of the instrument or sensor, it takes time, because for us, we haven't used any sensors in our studies. So what I'm trying to do is I'm ask my friends, Google, YouTube, until night, then try and error.
Programming is definitely not easy. What about you, Faika?
My biggest challenge would be my lack of experience, because this is actually my second time joining a competition in UIA. The first one would be the Aviator one. So, because I've always been the one who go to class and then go back to hostel, so that's always been my routine. So yeah, I guess the lack of experience in all of this kind of stuff, and I think both of them, like they encourage me to. They encourage me. They give me something that I would most definitely remember, and they guide me along through it. So yeah.
So you have like good mentors to help you cope with the
Yeah.
challenges. That's good. Okay, so moving on to our next question is that where do you see yourself as an engineer in the future? Would you see yourself being furthering yourself into the aerospace industry, or like just a normal engineer, or how does it go? Haris?
Oh, for me, I picture myself. I think I'll picture myself something like this. I'll go and serve other countries first. I'll come back and try and serve my country, but let's focus on the space exploration part because that's what's lacking, and that's where the R&D for aerospace engineering students are. So what I can see myself in the future is being a key player, hopefully, inshallah.
Inshallah. Adi?
For me, like I said, during high school, I want to know how do aeroplane fly. But now when I'm in aerospace, I would like to know how the rocket fly. Yeah. So now I'm interested in rockets and satellite. So what I see in my future is like I want to further my study in rocket first, rocket propulsion or satellite, and then maybe if I can join any NASA, maybe dreams come true.
True, dreams do come true actually.
Inshallah,
Dream big,
inshallah.
even better. Baika?
I guess like I think my answer would be similar to both of them maybe, because like when I first joined, not like when I first entered the aerospace degree thingy, I actually wasn't thinking of pursuing my career in Malaysia first, because I think not that it's lacking, but sort of.
It is
Yeah,
lacking.
and plus, like I would like to go further in outside of Malaysia first and gain some knowledge from the rest of the world, and yeah, I guess that's it. And then only then I would come back to Malaysia.
That's actually really, I understand why you chose to do that, because the aerospace industry in Malaysia itself is not very.
Abrupt.
It's not the most amazing thing here in Malaysia. So it can be further developed. So like with hopes that you guys further your career outside, and then you can contribute back to the country, which is a very good plan. Alright, we'll be coming back right after this commercial break. welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So, Haris, you mentioned just now, like, you gotta push through, even like you have like assignments at the back of your head.
Yes.
How do you manage your time?
So about time management, I think firstly you need to have something we call SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time bound. So that's where you make your objective, and then put it in timetable. I mean, giving you a practical example. Put in timetable. You put monthly plan, weekly, and daily plan, something like that. But the problem is how to follow. So how to follow? You need to pray. Because sometimes you do know what you want to do, but you know, I think because of, I don't know, maybe God doesn't give you the chance to do it. So you gotta be very good. You have very good relationship with God, and He will give you the time for you to do all those things.
That's true.
I think that's from what I think lah.
Okay, you?
Oh, for time management, actually, I am very particular with time. So if I said 8 p.m., so you should be there by 8. If not, you guys know what happened. So okay, so for me, time management, I will always do early the tasks, finish early. So because like I said, I'm very particular with time. So for me, there's not a big problem for me for in terms of time management.
Fun, do you have anything?
I for time management, I guess I always keep sort of a the Google Calendar where I would put like all the stuff. So for my activities, I would just go through it first and then see whichever comes first and whichever comes first and whichever comes second. So I would for assignments I would do which one that is required the most. So yeah, I mean the one that comes first I would do it first, obviously. So yeah, just keep a schedule and yeah.
So the plan is to write down everything you have so that you have a clearer vision of what you have to do.
Yes.
Alright, okay. So as an engineering student myself, I know how stressful it can be. So how do you guys manage to how do you guys manage your stress? How do you decompose, and like what do you do on your free time?
Oh.
Okay, let's start with you, Haris.
How do you decompose your stress?
Yeah. Or you just like go on full on burnout, no?
No. What I do is I call my mom. That's the most important thing. Like call my mom. Sometimes she doesn't say anything. Something like that. But then your stress is gone. But for those people, and I'm sorry to say this, but if you don't have a mom, you should not be sad, because next to it is God. So you need to talk to God. I think that's it lah. So you just need to talk.
Let it all out.
Let it all out.
So most common and practical way of coping.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Adi?
Yeah, I'm actually a mama's boy, same like Haris. So every day I call my mom, day and night. I really call my mom. But during my free time, I play basketball. So ball is life. If there is balls, then I play basketball. Yeah.
Ball is 700. Okay, what about you, Faika?
I guess for the stress management, whatever. I like to listen to songs, music, basically. So how I try not to get stressed, or whenever I get stressed, I would just I don't know, blast it all out and just like listen to music like really loudly. Plus, yeah, I guess I don't really talk much with my mom. Like she would call me, but yeah, we just like talk about the normal stuff, like what do you eat and stuff like that.
Oh, just a normal, typical empty conversation.
So yeah.
Okay, you mentioned that you listen to songs.
Yeah.
What kind of songs do you like to listen to?
Songs. I guess my favorite. I mostly listen to bands. So my favorite for now, like I've been listening on repeat, is Arctic Monkeys and also the Mountain Goats.
Good
yeah.
choice.
The Mountain Goats.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty sure our viewers have like some juniors or like new students who are very optimistic and excited to be an engineering student. So do you have any advice for them to, like, we all know by the third year we can like engineering. So okay, any advice to keep them on like hopeful and motivated? We start with you, Haris.
Advice. My advice to you is study. Don't fool around. Study. Okay, I'm talking to you. No, I mean, yeah, seriously, you should. If you don't know us, I think you have like a lot of seniors, such as me and Adi. You know, a lot more seniors that are willing to more than help.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a lot.
We all are your seniors actually. Yeah.
So the problem is they don't talk.
Us.
They don't ask. But I think the problem with us seniors is we don't ask them as well. So that's what we're trying to break right now. So yeah, I think that's
Which
it.
is like the activity. Could you like mention the activity you mentioned to me earlier?
Oh, about the Aero Marine Club. Oh, okay. So it's like this. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to revive the club so that because before this, our seniors, they have the expertise to make aircraft, RC aircraft and everything. They have the ways and means.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is we form a group of seniors that knows a bit, and it's more like a sharing session. So for gliders or aircraft, and we have like our own. My friend, he's an instructor for RC controlling, and inshallah after mid break, my other friend will teach them about CFD, computational fluid dynamics. So me myself, I'm teaching them on building and balancing. So it's more like a sharing session between seniors. So yeah, I mean Adi is helping as well for the coding and mechatronics part because he's from robotics, you know. So yeah, it's like it's a close, but that's what we're trying to do.
How can they approach you?
How can they approach me? Well,
Like, how can they contact you in regards of the club in itself?
I see. So what I did was I went to the lecturers first and to tell them that we have like this sort of club. So the lecturers will tell in the class.
Oh, okay.
Because class have attendance, so they need to come, so they'll know about it. So I think that's much what they call more rational to do than putting in
So
an online or
Yes.
poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, kids, don't forget to ask your lecturers in regards to this club. You can also ask your academic advisor. They should know about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is a fundamental question for every episode. Would each of you mind sharing 3 books would you recommend? Starting with you, Fai. I know you love books. You love books.
When I first got the question, I was actually rummaging through like my list of books. So I don't know which one to choose actually, but I guess 3 of my most recommended books would be The Brothers of Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry. The Brothers of Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. He's a Russian writer, Russian author. Number 2 would be No God But God. It's by Reza Aslan. And number 3 would be Utopia for Realists by, I can't really pronounce the author's name. I think it's Rutger Bregman. Yeah.
Sounds hard to.
Yeah, I think he's Swedish, I guess.
It's okay. Okay, how about you?
For me, I can't remember the author, but 3 of recommended books is The Right of History, Rich Kid, Poor Dad, Rich Dads, about the financial.
Which is an economics
Yeah.
book. Okay.
The first one is about the history. I love history, actually. So and the third one is Dunia Tanpa Tembok, about history also.
Alright, about you? What about you, Haris?
So for me, I'll recommend you to read Discourses of Rumi,
Discourses.
written by, if I'm not mistaken, A.J. Arbery, Professor A.J. Arbery. The next one would be Muhammad, his life based on earlier sources, written by Martin Links. And the last one would be Wings of Fire, an autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam, written by Dr. Kalam himself and Arun Tijari. Yeah,
Dr. Kalam is
the president of the
India.
former president of India. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
alright.
He's an aerospace engineer.
Um,
Yeah,
You can see a lot of engineers technically ruling the world.
yeah.
Alright, okay. I forgot to ask Adi and Faika about the question just now. What are your advice towards the young ones?
Oh, my advice is don't give up. So, if you have some problems or tasks that are given to you, although it's not your measuring or something like it's not your parts, try to do first. If like Elon Musk said, try first. If the possible outcome is a failure, it's okay. Just try, because we are still learning. All of us are learning, so it's not a problem.
Persevere.
Yeah.
Like, if you fail once, doesn't mean you're gonna fail always.
Yes.
What about you, Faika?
For my advice to the is this the
new-
juniors or
yeah, the
like
juniors.
the juniors in general, like in total engineering or
Anyone who
okay,
wish to
alright.
pursue engineering.
I guess like I think this is a reminder to myself also. It's like if you don't know something, don't ever be afraid to ask, because like I mean like we have Googles and everything, but sometimes a face-to-face conversation would be like you would get the, how do I say this? You would get the knowledge like it would be more absorbent than the Google itself. So yeah, try to communicate with the lecturers or your friends, your classmates if you don't understand anything.
Which
So
is
yeah.
very, very useful. Very, very useful advice to survive engineering in itself. I totally agree with them. Sadly, that's the end of our show today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow our Instagram page and Twitter at IIUM TV, and tune in next week. Thank you, everyone.